Hi all and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Tony and this is a place to talk about what's going on, what's right, what's wrong with the country, and see if we can all put it straight. We'll give our ideas, your ideas. You can send me your thoughts on what's happening and how to fix it. I don't condone any type of violence, whether it's from the man in the street to the police. It's not going to achieve anything. Violence becomes violence, and it's a perpetual, non-stop merry-go-round. I've got a appalling memory, so I have to jot down notes what I want to talk about. So excuse me if I keep looking down, referring to my notes. So what is wrong with the country? Kier Starmer thinks it's just a load of right-wing thugs having a jolly. In general, well, I won't call them right-wing, I'd just call them a lot of mindless thugs, like having a jolly. But that's on both sides of the indigenous population and the Muslim population. They're just using it all for an excuse to break the law and have fun. That's the way I see it. But behind all this, there is a real protest going on that we can't ignore. The country is sick and fed up of the indigenous population being treated like shit. And Kier Starmer is just proving a point, like, oh, it's the right-wing thugs. Like, we will stop them. We'll create an army. Like, what planet does the guy live on? At least Elon Musk has, called him outright, haven't they? Well done for free speech for Elon Musk. Starmer claims there's no two-tier policing. We've seen too much evidence to say exactly the opposite. Where's the hundreds of arrests of Muslims that are running around the streets with weapons, clubs, batons? Like doing the Muslim chants and Allah Akbar and all the rest of it. I'm not trying to incite anyone to violence. That's not my aim. I'm just having a discussion of what's wrong with this country. And what is wrong is we're sick of being downtrodden and ignored and being treated differently to other invading populations, where they get a free pass and we're clamped down on. Why? What's the purpose? Is there some sort of secret agenda that we're not seeing? Or, have you got any ideas? Because I'm at a loss, what's it achieving except creating this volcano that's gonna... This is just bubbling under, or slightly bubbling over, should I say. Let's see, if the melting pot explodes into full civil war, which it could possibly do unless someone gets a grip in government and says, right, we accept there's a problem, let's fix it. But how do you fix it? For one, you've got to clamp down on Muslim communities doing what the hell they want. I'm originally from Blackburn, and I know there's parts of Blackburn where they conduct Sharia law. Like, why? What's wrong with our law? We, the indigenous people of Great Britain, are mainly Christian. It's a Christian country with Christian values. Now you might say, what are Christian values? Well, that's possibly a debate for another time. Like, we could go into it, but that's going down a different rabbit hole. So, we are an English-speaking country with Christian values. Anyone comes here, we expect them to accept and integrate. Two very important words: accept and integrate. If you can't integrate into this country, accept our Christian values, and most importantly, speak English. Why do we spend millions on publishing things in about 20 different languages? Why does the NHS waste vast amounts of money on interpreters? And the police also, vast amounts of money on interpreters. It should be the law that everything, if you can't accept what's given in healthcare, under law enforcement or anything in an English language, that's your fault, not ours. We'll give you lessons, we'll help you learn to speak the lingo at our cost. But we're not paying interpreters. We're not printing 30 languages in every piece of information. Get a grip. We've got to stop all this namby-pamby state for foreigners and people that do not speak our language. I'd like to ask the police officers that are on the beat, that are on these riot lines and everything, do you not see two-tier policing? Tell me, come back to me, like, do you think it's fair across the board? I'd like to hear about from serving police officers. What's your thoughts? I'll leave your name out of it. Like, just give me your thoughts. Like, do you see it as unfair on the indigenous population? Why they're treated so harshly? Or do you think it's fair across the board? Because the rest of the country sees it totally different. I also saw on another channel what's upsetting the people as well. Like, there's certain things like we rely on in this country for justice. That is the media, law enforcement and the courts. They all seem to have a left-wing bias. Not just a left-wing bias, but bias against the indigenous population. Again, a white man gets convicted of something, he'll be treated more harshly than a non-white. Because even the judges have got this walkie-talkie crap where I'm not racist. I don't want to be called racist, so I'll give them a lesser sentence. It's just absolutely crap. Yeah, we've got a totally useless Prime Minister at the minute, Kier Starmer. What's he about? He's just inflaming the situation with his absolute. You can look at him. He is absolutely clueless. Yeah, he's so proud to tell the working class people of this country his dad was a tool maker. Well, where I'm from, another name for a tool is a person. An idiotic prat of a person. So yeah, Kier Starmer's dad was a tool maker. And look at the biggest tool he made. Sir Kier Starmer. What a tool. Our whole country is creaking under the strain of mass immigration, illegal immigration, of populations that don't want to assimilate, don't want to integrate, don't even want to speak the lingo. Our National Health Service, like, it's in tatters just because the size of the population, it can't cope. Our roads, they're at choking point because the amount of the population increase. The police, they just, for the past 10 years, like, the policing is just disintegrated. There's nothing policed now. I can walk out of my house right now and spot crimes all over the place, which the police are supposed to police, but nobody's doing it. Everyone's getting away with whatever they can because nobody's policing. Basically, the police use the car driver as a cash cow, but they're not generally policing our roads. There's all sorts going on. Like, I grew up, and if you had a light out, police would stop you and pull you over. Why have we allowed the Muslim population of this country not to assimilate? What does that achieve? Why do I can't understand why a full, let's say, religious cult population is just allowed to go on their own way, be isolated, insulated, and they don't want to associate. They hate us. And that is the vast majority of them. They absolutely hate the indigenous population of the UK. The media, mainstream media, like, what a joke. Does anyone watch, believe the mainstream media? I feel sorry for those that are going out to the corner shop to buy a newspaper. The older generation that not tech savvy, and sit at home, watch the mainstream media, TV channels. What must they be thinking? It's totally twisted stories that they're being fed absolute horrendous. Well, has not one reporter, commentator in this country not got a backbone? Oh yeah, a backbone. But not got a conscience. Because what you're doing is absolutely criminal, and you should be taken to task for not reporting the truth. It should be a criminal offence to put a one-sided story out there. As for the BBC, the British bashing corporation, why anyone pays the TV licence, I'd all stop it right now. Basically, put in your application to the BBC and say, I don't watch you, I don't need a TV licence, I'm not paying it. Because until the TV licence is scrapped, they're not going to change. But look at the sponsored media, like it gets revenue through advertising. If I was the owner of a big massive company, I wouldn't advertise with Sly News and all that. Like, it's besmirching the companies being associating with those mainstream media outlets. Because if I sat down, and I refuse to, I know some commentators will sit there and watch what these channels put out, but it just turns my stomach. I try now and again to see, like if they've changed any, but every time I look at them, they get worse. They don't tell the honest truth about anything. What do you think? Tell me your thoughts on what mainstream media is doing to this country. We've got to get to grips with this situation very soon, or else, civil war is coming if we carry on down this path. Yeah, I'll gladly state my political views. I'm reform all the way. I shall be a reform candidate. I'll hold my hand up, and yes, I've been a member of both Labour and Conservative parties, but I wouldn't go near either of them. Why, especially in my area, which is Merseyside, why people keep voting Labour, I do not know. Whether it's for historical value, like, we've always voted Labour, so that's the only thing I can do. They're not for the working man. They're not for the average Briton. They're not for the English man, woman and child. Yeah, if you're upper middle class, yeah, they're for you. But nothing else. And the Conservatives, well, you can't fit a fag paper between the two, can you? What's the difference between a Conservative and Labour? There isn't one. So as we go week on, week out, more and more rioting, damage, violence, it's not achieving anything. If anything, it's giving the name of what we want and our main complaints a bad name. And two-tier Starmer He's never going to listen. I think this government will be the first government that's ousted before its term. Yeah, I know other terms of government have been ousted, but I really see this government being ousted before, because it's not got the populace vote. It's got less votes than bloody that idiot bloody leftist crazy gobshite Corbyn. So Kier Starmer, you sat and condoned old Corbyn's policies. You fought against Brexit. You're a flip-flopping failure. And you're a danger to the British nation. You're upper middle class. Why is a sir in charge of the Labour Party? Why are unions backing Labour? Unions are for the working man. Labour is not for the working man. People have got hold of unions now, and they're just using them as a meal ticket and putting on those unions the political views of those at the top. And your average working man doesn't subscribe to these views. Basically, unions want scrapping right now and starting again with a different format, and they've got to be non-political. Just fight for the rights of their members in the workplace. That's all unions should do. They shouldn't be allowed a political voice, because that's not speaking for everyone. It's just their views. So, get back to me. Tell me what you think. Give me your ideas. We'll discuss them. We'll debate them. We might agree with some, we might disagree with some, but that's how we solve problems in this country, not through violence and rioting, through sitting down and debating. But I've got to admit, the British man in the street is not being listened to. Only extreme lefties can vote for Labour. So everyone that signs up to a British way of life, a Christian country that speaks English, even though you can't understand some Scottish, but it's still English. I'll get abuse for that one. Yeah, give me your views. Tell me what you think. Tell me how we're going to fix this. Because we're not going to fix this by going down the World Economic Forum, World Health Programme, all that. All these idiotic quangos. We've got to stop them all and look after our country. We shouldn't be sending any money abroad until there is not one person on our streets sleeping rough. When there is no rough sleepers in our country, no need for food banks, then you can send money abroad. But before that, nothing. Not one penny should go abroad to help other countries until our country is on its feet and is going in a right direction that the people want, that the people subscribe to. What do you think? Tell me. My name's Tony. Hello and welcome to my channel. If you want to give me a thumbs up, that's good for me. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. If you don't, that's equally good for me. But yeah, I will debate, like, whether you agree with me and disagree with me. Let's debate it, let's talk about it. But I think the majority will agree with me. Okay, see you next time. Bye.